Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Jacked with Jake, where we will discuss health and wellness backed by science in real-world situations. I'm Jake Martinez, former football player and fitness enthusiast, and today we are discussing the importance of cardio and strength training and the significance of a sort of consistency in building routines that are going to work best for you and they're going to lead to your greatest chance of success. Okay, first things first, I'm going to talk about the importance of strength training and the benefits that it comes with in regards to weightlifting. And what that basically means is that over time, the lean muscle mass in your body is going to naturally diminish. And that's where this term, use it or lose it, comes from. Essentially saying that if you don't use your muscles, they're going to be replaced with fat. And other than just looking good, it comes with a variety of other benefits. Lifting weights is going to obviously manage your weight. It's going to keep you slimmer and more muscle than fat. But it's also going to manage chronic conditions such as back pain, obesity, heart disease, depression, and diabetes. And it's even gone so far as to been proven to sharpen your thinking skills. Some researchers have suggested that regular strength training and aerobic exercise can improve thinking and learning skills, especially in adults. Most doctors and fitness websites are going to encourage you to get at least 150 minutes of moderate activity or 75 minutes of vigorous aerobic activity, such as running, the stair-stepper machine, the elliptical machine. Me personally, I try to hit the gym 5 times a week. I'll do weight training. I'll do it across a push-pull leg circuit. And then 2 of those days during the week, usually the late start days, I'll wake up early in the morning to establish a sense of routine, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later in this podcast. And I'll run 2 or 3 miles. I try to do different routes every time. That way it just doesn't get repetitive and boring. But I've kind of found throughout experience and research, cardio does something completely different than weight training. It's a lot more intense than weight training, and it strengthens your mental state, not just your physical state. Some of the benefits, going into the science side of all this, cardio can have a really beneficial effect on all things cardiovascularly. So when you run and you kind of feel all that blood pumping through your system, you can feel your chest beating really hard. That's strengthening the muscle of the heart, but it's also improving the flow of oxygen throughout your body. That's kind of why right when you're done running and you feel really good, that's because all of the organs within your body are super oxygenated. And yeah, as you run more and more, that muscle in your heart's going to strengthen, and you're going to find yourself saying, hey, I can go a little bit longer than my last run. I can run 1 more mile. So all of this to say, obviously, weight training and cardio training are essential to everyday health. But I'm going to now transition into a different section of the podcast on the importance of a routine. I think that routine and discipline is even more important than the cardio and the weight training, because honestly, without routine and self-discipline and holding yourself accountable, the weight training and the cardio training, it doesn't even happen. So this next section of the podcast, I'm going to be interviewing one of my friends who goes to the gym a lot. I'm going to be pulling another audio clip from one of my favorite podcasts, led by a fitness expert named Andrew Huberman, who's a neuroscientist over at Stanford University. He has some really good tips and tricks, and I'm going to share one of those with you today. So as we talk about routines and how to develop them, I think that you need to break down routines into a smaller subcategory, and that category is habits. So how can we develop habits? Because all of our habits compiled together are going to become basically what we would call a routine in everyday life. So your brain is constantly looking for ways that it can save effort, and a new habit or a new routine is going to require a lot of effort for the brain to figure out and execute that action. So to understand this whole process, you kind of have to understand a little bit how the brain works. When you think of a new habit or putting in a new routine, and your brain thinks of how much work it's going to have to do, the low levels of dopamine are going to make you feel unmotivated to go do that. When you first think of a new habit, such as going to the gym or going for a run, going back to dopamine, not a whole lot of dopamine is going to be released when you think of that. So your brain's always chasing ways that it can get the most dopamine. So I'm going to give you guys a tip on how you can hack that system in your brain and make your brain more seasoned to the elements of creating a new habit, creating a new routine. But first, I'm going to play a quick little clip of an interview that I did with my friend Johnny Rojas. Okay, I'm right here with Johnny Rojas. Johnny, you consistently go to the gym, work on your body. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. How has working out benefited you?
It's really given me a sense of routine, established a really big goal in mind to just build muscle, make myself better. And it gives me this extra thing to fill my schedule, make me a little more busy, keeps me off the phone, off the video games, gets me really active and going. And it really just helped me to, really strive to be better, strive to make myself better, eat better, sleep better. And the routine, though, that's the main part.
So you kind of talked a little bit about routine and schedule. Is it hard to stay in a routine for working out? And how do you overcome this step and say, hey, I got to get out of bed and I got to go to the gym. No more messing around.
There's definitely been times where it's been hard to do that. And used to be just you get a little caffeine in you, or you get a little excited to go to the gym. Maybe you just kind of make that excitement out of nowhere. But there's definitely been spots like that where it's been hard. And you just have to push through. You got to know that, hey, there's a better reward on the other side.
So that's the interview right there. He mentions caffeine to get motivated to go to the gym. And I could make a whole nother podcast on the negative effects of caffeine and why that's probably not a good idea to get you out of bed to go to the gym every day. But he does say something that I really like. He mentions a reward on the other side. Within our brains, there's a reward complex. And this is why you'll see marathon runners run 25 miles and they'll get right to the finish line and they fall over on their knees and they can barely even walk after that. So what's pushing that person to have run the past 25 miles? And the answer is the reward complex in your brain. So your brain's thinking about all of the dopamine it's going to get when it crosses that finish line and you get that medal. So hacking into our reward complex is a very good way to develop habits and routines, thinking, hey, this is going to be painful in the present tense, whether it be studying for this degree, whether it be grinding for this job, whether it be going to the gym every morning, but that the reward on the other side, the dopamine that you're going to get from the completion of that task is worth the suffering that you're going to endure in the present. There's no time for the Andrew Huberman clip, but I'm going to explain it the best I can myself. When you're adopting a new habit, a technique that can be really beneficial is visualizing every step of that new habit. So, for example, if you're going to start the new habit of going to the gym in the mornings, sitting there and visualizing waking up and getting dressed, putting the clothes on, driving to the gym, getting out in the cold, and then going inside the gym and lifting the weights, that can be really beneficial because it predisposes your mind to the things and tasks it's going to have to complete. And I say this is a trick or a hack, but it's not really tricking your brain. Your brain is smart enough to decipher between truth and a lie. But I like to call it more of a shift into a new mindset. And this technique has actually clinically been proven to increase the likelihood that you will complete the task and that it will eventually become a habit in the following weeks, months, and hopefully years to come. So that's the end of my podcast. I hope that you guys hopefully could take one or two things away that could hopefully benefit you guys and you could take into your life. And hopefully you will tune in if there's ever another Jacked with Jake podcast.